But once I finally got it to the point where I'm like, I need to understand myself better, it was easy as hell to understand other people, because I was able to be a lot more empathetic. I could start seeing myself in them. And so it made it easier to kind of stop taking things personal because I can be like, they going through some shit they don't know how to express. And it's just, I'm right here. Like it could have been anybody sitting right here. They would have did the same thing to them.
Yep.
I'm not special.
Those last 5 years, I knew it was over. I stayed,
Hmm.
and I know a lot of men do that. They stay in spite of, but I had to get that courage to say, okay, I'm done. So yeah, I initiated that. So yeah, when I didn't like coming home and I was good being away from home, like, yeah, it's over.
Hmm. I went through that phase, bro. I
Hmm.
went through it, and it was. I would justify it in a sense of like I need my me time or I need to refuel myself to be able to, because I mean, especially when you got kids involved, it's the duty of being a father and a husband and all of those things can feel heavy.
Are you a content creator, YouTuber? Maybe you've interviewed someone on your video podcast and they said something that was really, really good, or maybe you said something that was really, really good. Well, enter Opus Clips. This is the platform that I use when I want to share 30 to 60-second video clips that I can share with the whole world. I mean, you can share those clips on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram Reels, like these 30 to 60-second clips that Opus Clips can give to you with the click of a mouse. All you have to do is upload the recording, and boom, Opus Clips within maybe 10 minutes will give you 15 to 25 different clips with description on the side of the video. And it also gives you like a title, and it gives you a rating and let you know how powerful that clip can be used on social media, from a rating of 99 all the way down to maybe 60. This is a phenomenal platform that has took my social media marketing to another level. If you want to level up your social media game, go in the description below right now and get the link for Opus Clips. This will not disappoint you. What's up, Bravehearts community? This is Sean Heineman, your premier pre-engagement coach, back with another segment of It's Scary to Remarry, wanting you to love fearlessly. We are back with another segment of our Life After Divorce series. It's been crazy. The response has been great. Thank you for everyone who has participated in this series, and thank you for everybody who uh, commented, all that other good stuff. So we're going to continue with this series. Today's guest, you are in for a treat. He is a father, music producer, engineer, writer, podcaster. He was one of my favorite podcasts. I guess we're going to talk about that. One of the world's most dangerous podcasts. I always like to say that. But Bravehearts community, let's show some love to King K. What's up, man?
What's good with you, brother?
Man, I am good. So you're back in these podcasting streets, huh?
Yeah, man. I was excited when you reached out to me, man.
Yeah, for sure. This life after death, life after divorce series has been really good, man. And I want you to talk about your experience. So there's going to be a couple questions, man, that we discuss, and we just gonna help some people today. Um, okay, so how long were you married, and how many kids do you both have together?
And we was together a total of 23 years.
Mhm.
Married, shit. Well, we got married in '07.
17 years?
14, somewhere around there. About 14 years married, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, three kids,
Hmm.
two adults, and a teenager, all girls.
Wow.
So, yeah, man.
Oh, you got two adults, huh?
Yes, sir.
Man. So let's go down memory lane. How did you both meet?
Um, that's always a funny story, man. My my little brother was friends with her little brother, He was at his house hanging out, and I guess she was in town visiting for winter break. I just remember my little brother coming in and be like, "Hey man, he got a sister upstairs. He got a sister." So I'm trying to hook my brother up with her because he had just broke up with his girl. And so I'm like, "Hey man, you need to holler at her, bro." I call her. I'm doing all of the talking. She finally comes downstairs, and my brother was scared to talk to her. He won't say he was scared, but he was scared to talk to her. So I went ahead and just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and just holler at her."
Mm.
And we met from right there, man. And she ended up going back to be with her pops and stuff, and she eventually ended up moving back. And it took a while for us to actually be together, but we was fucking with each other. But she wouldn't be my girl,
Mm-hmm.
until she seen me with some other girls. She called me that night and told me like, "Hey, I'm your girl, and I don't want to see you with them girls no more."
Yeah.
So that was in like '99 when we met, 1999.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Oh,
made it official in 2000.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Man. So when did you know that there was like trouble in paradise? I mean, because of course we always have disagreements, we fall out, those things that comes with marriage, right? But when
hmm
did you know like th- there might not be any coming back from this, or like I'm done? Like, how did you know? When did you know that there was trouble in paradise?
That's always a tough one, right?
Mm,
Because our natural instinct a lot of times is to flee from uncomfortable things,
hmm
and then you don't you got to recognize or try to understand and recognize, is this a part of the growth, or is this really something I need to get away from? Those hard times and those. So it's like, is this a part of it,
hmm
or is this something I really? So it's kind of hard to pinpoint like when I knew that it was, because you always want to get a benefit of the doubt,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But when the feeling came that I really I would, I would think less of myself
Mm,
if if things continue to go on the way that they're going on. I would really not respect myself,
mm,
and that was that was difficult.
mm.
That was difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. Because I know for me, because I was married almost 15 years,
hmm
um, when I wanted to, when I didn't want to come home, like I and then sometimes I would be home on the weekends and I'm like, I just need to get out the house.
hmm
That's when I knew. And like I felt better on the outside than inside.
hmm
So
hmm
for me, I was like, yeah, this feeling of being away from home and being away from her, it feels good. And the more I did it, the more I felt like more of me.
hmm
So it was just
hmm
like as we continued to go down that road, I was like, okay, I need to draw the courage to say that I'm done. And and I think I might have told you this, like I think when we did the interview some years ago, uh,
hmm
those last 5 years, I knew it was over. I stayed,
hmm
and I know a lot of men do that. They stay in spite of, but I had to get that courage to say, okay, I'm done. So yeah, I initiated that. So yeah, when I didn't like coming home and I was good being away from home, like yeah, it's over.
hmm I went through that phase, bro. I
Hmm
went through and it was, and I would justify it in a sense of like I need my me time or I need to refuel myself to be able to because I mean especially when when you got kids involved it's the duty of being a father and a husband and all of those things can feel heavy. So it would feel good when I would just be by myself and not, have to uh really fucked up, but take care of those responsibilities and duties of a husband and a father right in that moment. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would rather let me go off and just be myself. Let me be King K. I ain't gotta be dad. I ain't gotta be babe. I could just be King K.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Cause
I abuse that a bit though.
yeah, you wear those hats, and sometimes you do want to just kind of just rest. Uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
there's with me being married again, I do my solo locations, and that was
Hmm.
something that my wife and I agreed on. It's like every quarter or something like that. I'm just gonna give me a room for the weekend or night or whatever. I'm just gonna let me just unwind, you know.
A room in the same city?
Yeah. 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 Just I just go. Yeah. There were some people that was giving me some flack, but I was telling people because I always talk about my personal life. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
some people were tripping, and I was like, but when you are faithful and committed,
Hmm.
you ain't there's no pressure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I mean that
saying?
makes sense because you want to make sure that I mean you're there to refuel yourself, but you also close enough to where if you're needed,
Yeah.
yeah. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes plenty of sense.
Yeah, man. Just my little solo location. It's about time for one anyway. Did you both seek therapy?
Yeah, man.
And
Yeah.
were there any aha moments for yourself?
Um. Nah. Yes and no.
Mhm.
Um. I can say for me, although I was initiating the therapy and all of that stuff,
Mhm.
honestly, I wanted the therapist to tell me I was right. So
Mhm.
I didn't even go into it with the right mind state. You know what I mean? I got more ahas once I started my own personal therapy and all of
Mhm.
that stuff. But as far as with the couples therapy, it really was an attempt. It was a selfish attempt. I
Mhm.
remember going to a therapy session one time and I'm hearing what the therapist is saying, I'm hearing what she is saying, and this is going in a different direction in which I thought that it should be going. So I really wasn't hearing what they were saying. You know what I mean? They both saying the same thing to me, but I wasn't hearing it because it wasn't what I wanted to hear,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so also I feel like there was some therapy, like I think we did it, I think we had two different therapists at two different times. There
Mhm.
was that time and then there was another time when I feel like the therapist wasn't the best fit for us.
Yeah.
I tried a little bit more then. I was a little more open. I was a lot more open actually, but I
Mhm.
don't think that therapist was the right therapist for us. And
Mhm.
then it kind of sucks because when it doesn't work out, you kind of be like, we tried therapy and it didn't work. And so you don't try and go and find the right one. You know what I mean? You don't try and find the right. You just be like, you can check that off the list of ways that we tried to make this work and it didn't work. We tried therapy, it didn't work,
Mhm. Mhm.
instead of finding the right one for us,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm. That is so true, man. Yeah, because even now for my wife and I, because we've had two therapists for a while.
Hmm.
Um, we had one man and then we had one woman. We stay with the woman longer, but like
Hmm.
you said, sometimes in therapy, you just be like, I don't want to hear this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
But sometimes when you on that other side, you're like, okay, I can, you kind of let it digest. You're like, all right,
Hmm.
I can see that. Cause for me personally, like I realized and I didn't even know this, King K, like I had mommy issues. I didn't even know that.
Hmm.
I spent most of my adult life, I didn't know I had mommy issues. I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. So that was my aha moment. And I was like, okay, now I need to really hone in and get that
What does
together.
that look like? Mommy issues. What does that look like in a? I'm assuming it was unearthed more through your relationship
Mhm,
is where you
mhm.
kind of seen it. What does that look like?
For me personally, I can't
Yeah.
speak for other people, but for me, I didn't get love and affection growing up.
Hmm.
I didn't get like a lot of encouragement and stuff like that because my mom was always working and I was taking care of my little sister.
Hmm.
So it was like my mom was just more of like she just ruled our home with an iron fist. You better do this, you better do that, you better. And so, and I'm not blaming my mom, but now that I look at my life, I'm like, oh, I'm a perfectionist. I beat up on
Hmm.
myself a lot. If I mess up,
Hmm.
I have a lot of pride because I feel like I always have to prove myself.
Hmm.
Um, and like I I wasn't affectionate in my first marriage. I wasn't. I was cut off. But
Hmm.
now I'm more affectionate this time around, I guess because I'm getting older. I'm just like, oh, I got fewer years ahead of me. You know what I'm saying? So
That's
I
that
used to
low
be,
testosterone, man. That's what we get this, man. That low T make us soft, man.
man, I get my testosterone shots. I'm like, look, I'm getting older. I need this. So it was I was emotionally unavailable, man.
Hmm.
Because I was taught to conceal my feelings because I didn't have time to express my feelings because I had to work. I couldn't tell her what was going on and what was going on with me. I just had to play my part. I was like little man of the
Yeah.
house. So
Yeah.
that stunted my emotional growth once I got married because I would
Hmm.
take things personal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people can't
Well,
tell me
yeah.
anything because I'm taking everything personal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When they're just trying to express themselves and say how they feel. I'm like, oh, so you coming from me? It's like, no, they're just trying to express themselves. Like you don't have to take on everything that
Hmm.
your spouse or your significant other tell you. They just trying to connect with you instead of you
Yeah.
getting defensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what that looked like for me.
Mm.
Yeah, man. So
That's something I'm kind of exploring. If that is something that I'm dealing with, I'm kind of exploring
mhm, mhm.
that thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man. If it's not, praise God. But if it
mhm.
is, dig a little deeper because now that I'm older, I can see where I was dropping the ball at. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, what was your biggest takeaway after the divorce? Like, what did you learn from it?
Man, I learned so much shit, bro. Bro, that shit it is. I learned a lot, and I'm generally a self-aware, emotionally intelligent, type of person. And
Mhm,
so there were a lot of things that became unearthed from the divorce that I didn't realize was a real problem for me, right? So with going through the process of that, um, I started focusing on what was going on with me,
mhm,
you know,
mhm,
and man, it's almost like when you start figuring that out and then you take the blindfold off and then you go back and revisit those moments and you like, yo, I really stood on business about the bullshit. Like I was so wrong. Like I really would thought I was right. One of the major things that I took away and I learned is that I have to own the full version of me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times if a person asks you like, who are you as a person? We really give our highlights,
Yep.
and we live on those. Those are the things that we get through life on is the highlights of us. And I had to start being like, man, I am way more than my highlights. I'm just scared to look at my demons. You know what I mean? So if somebody asks me who I am, I got to be honest with myself first. I got to be honest with myself first and then see, or is this person even privileged enough to know to hold me? You know what I mean? Like you can get like, if you ask me who am I, you'll get the snippets or whatever. You get the excerpt or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
what I can't do is lie to myself no more
Mm.
because that's the only way that I can one heal. That is the only way that I can change and grow is to look at every part of myself and own those parts too. And so in the process of doing that, man, I learned a lot about myself.
Mm.
And I keep that in my mind of making sure that I'm owning all parts of myself. So even when it's times where I feel like I'm falling short on something, I got to analyze myself and ask myself why. When things get hard, you have shown before that you're the type of person to try to find an escape or some sort, whether it's in doing music or whether it's in doing something like you're that type of person. How did that work out for you? We did. So you're that type of person. Is that who you want to be? No? Okay, what we got to do then?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so the ability to look at my whole self has helped me get through those moments and processes and make things, a lot easier for myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the biggest thing that I learned is that like I can't hide behind, and it's crazy, man, because I've been doing like devotionals and doing a lot more reading and stuff like that. And I wish I could remember exactly where it was in the book, man. But it's pretty much like you you not gonna be rewarded for who you pretend to be.
Mm-hmm.
You get no sense of fulfillment out of who you are pretending to be. So and we see it all of the time. We see people faking it and it looks like they're getting somewhere. It looks like they're doing something, but they are still not happy. Their hearts are still not full. Their soul is still not touched. Something still because you're getting praise off of who you are pretending to be. And so it's been very important to me to own the whole me. Understand that because the good book that said you're gonna be tested. Who you pretend to be is you're gonna get tested. You say you you you're a great communicator. You're a passionate, empathetic person. That's gonna get tested, and we're gonna see if you really that. You know, you're a forgiving person. All right, you finna go through some shit that you're gonna have to forgive, and see. We're gonna see if you really that. And so it's been important to me to own the whole me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's good, man. Yeah, that's good. And very few people can say who they are outside of their achievements.
bruh, yeah,
Very few people. I have rarely, think about this for a second. When we get around other men, the first thing we ask another man is, what do you do for a living?
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
women, they do the same thing sometimes, but a lot of times they kind of start with conversations like their kids and different things of that nature. But men,
Hmm.
we are built on accolades and achievements and stuff like that. And it's like I came to the realization, like when you said you got to be honest with yourself, because
Hmm.
there's nothing worse than being a prisoner in your own body from
Bruh,
experience.
man, it's a miserable feeling, man. It's a miserable feeling, especially when you don't even know you. You just know something's off, something ain't right, something's wrong. I'm not being authentic. You don't fully know yourself completely because you've been a branch to so many different others. You're trying to be the friend, you're trying to be a son, you're trying to be, and you trying to be, man, that shit was nerve wracking. Once I left
Mhm.
and I really had to be like, who am I outside of being a husband, being a father, and be like, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want to do.
Mm.
I don't know what I want to think. I'm thinking this, but not like this shit was crazy.
Mhm. Mhm.
That was a weird ass experience, man.
Yeah. And what you tapping into, like I said before, very few people won't take the time. There's
Hmm.
people who won't even sit in silence because the silence is too loud.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They like, nope, they trying to get away from themselves. Some people be so busy that they don't want to deal with themselves. Like I don't have time for
Hmm.
me because when I start dealing with me, I got to deal with the past trauma, the hurts, the disappointments, all those different
Hmm.
things. So, um, yeah, man, people, once you know who you are, it will change the game for you for real.
Yeah.
Man, that's a whole show within itself. That's a big. Uh, so what advice would you give to single people who desire to marry? Because there's people out here that they still want to be married, but what would be your piece of advice?
um, I mean, piggyback off of what I just said. Um, Learn to consistently tell yourself the truth, you know, because there's no way that you can try to teach somebody how to treat you if you don't even know what you really want. You don't even know who you really are. And you kind of treat yourself like shit. So you're giving the next person the permission to treat you like shit. Like you didn't say it, but they are seeing the way that you treat you. And if you're okay with treating you like that, they're gonna feel like they're okay with treating you like that. So um get to the roots of your wants and needs, right? So if you are a man or woman and you saying that, I want somebody that loves spending quality time. Take time to figure out why do you need quality time.
Mm,
Understand the mental and emotional needs that you have for quality time. What does that mean to you? Because if you don't get to the root of things, yeah, you killed the weed over here, but the root it's gonna pop up over there. And you can't just keep running around trying to cut the weeds. That's when you're gonna be like, this whole relationship is trash. I don't like it. You
mm,
don't because you haven't gotten to the point where you realize that, you know what, when I was younger, I didn't have this and I craved it. And
mm,
now whenever somebody don't want to spend quality time with me, I take it personally as if I am a bad person. I am like get to the roots of your wants and your needs in a relationship so you can understand the emotions that you are looking for.
mm,
Because once you get into that relationship,
mm,
all of the things about you are going to become unearthed. They just are. And if you haven't figured out what's going on in a healthy coping mechanism, then you're going to ruin your relationship and you're going to have a self-fulfilling prophecy and you're going to blame that person
yep.
because you didn't do the work on you. So that's the major thing that I think I would tell people, like, figure out what your needs and your wants are and then get to the root of why you need and you want them.
Mhm, mhm,
And you're probably not going to find the perfect person that's going to fulfill all those needs and those wants, but you're going to find somebody who is willing to hear you. You're going to find somebody that is willing to meet you there. And then y'all can begin to continue to grow together on those things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably the main thing. Like figure
Mm-hmm.
out your needs and your wants and figure out the roots of them. Why do you need and want this? What does it mean to you?
Mm-hmm. That's good, man. Yeah, that's good because back to what you were saying about how you treat yourself. Cause and I always tell people, especially my single people, I'll be like, look, I'm gonna show you how to treat me by the way I treat myself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you mad at somebody for treating you wrong or disrespecting you, it's like, what are you doing? You know,
Mm-hmm.
we give off that energy, we give off that aura. Like there's people I know that talk bad about themselves, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see you might struggle with, not out of judgment, but just kind of more of like, okay, you have low self-esteem because you call yourself all these negative things anytime you mess up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I hear more negative than positive, so I was just like, So you could catch that in just people's verbiage, alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Man. So what's life like for King K now?
And I'm blessed, bro. Man, I'm so blessed. I've been blessed though. That was the crazy part, bro. I didn't it took me a minute to even realize how blessed I am. And
Mm-hmm.
it was crazy because I used to be someone who would look at it like if I made a Facebook post
Mm-hmm.
right now and just said, "Man, I am so blessed." People read that, they're gonna swear I just got a new job, or I just
Mm-hmm.
got came into some money. I
Yeah.
just got like it's gonna be something. And it's like, nah, man, I'm blessed in spite of the like. That's why I'm blessed. That's why I feel blessed because materialistically, I'm not where I want to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
But one simple thing, I get the opportunity every day to get there. That's a blessing. All of the things that I used to look at as barriers or something in my way from getting from here to there, whether it was even my way of thinking,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was a job I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
When things don't go the way that I want them to now, instead of looking at it like for me or shit just don't be working out for me the way it work out for other people, I immediately go to what lesson you trying to show me, God.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I can even do that and hear him and figure out what he's saying to me, bro, I am blessed. The fact that I can even do that, that I could still walk with my chest out and head up over some things that motherfuckers crumble. And I'm looking at it like, all right, because God he gonna tell you one of three things. Yes, no, not yet. You know what I mean? So if it ain't a yes or a no, it's a not yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
if it's a no, then that means that you got to be content with that because it wasn't meant for you.
Yep.
I'm blessed to be able to be like, damn, God, I heard you say no. All right, I'm gonna go on this way then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I had been blessed, bro, and I couldn't see it. I was getting in my own way so much, my own anxieties and
Mm-hmm.
depression and shit like that. Man, I was getting in my own way so much.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, life has been a complete blessing, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, the other side of it, yeah, I've been able to do some things that I've been wanting to do. And some things have come my way that I'm like, hey, Jesus is a way maker. I tell you, oh, because I was sure sitting there like, oh shit. But
Hey.
man, I'm blessed, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've been staying busy,
Mm-hmm.
uh, working on my craft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, man, that's pretty much it, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Staying busy, working on my craft, figuring out things for me. I'm constantly reading, I'm journaling. I'm want to make sure that my mental, emotional, and spiritual is on point because that's gonna be the guidance of my feet.
Better
You
believe
know,
it. Yep. Better believe it. Yeah, man. And I'm glad you said that because a lot of times, man, it, it, it it's easy to get caught up in what you don't have, right? It's
Correct.
you never know what you don't have until you see what your neighbor got,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
had to learn that myself, man. I had to learn, like, you know what, God, you allow me to see another day because somebody didn't wake up this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I got another chance and I'm in my right mind and
Mm-hmm.
my family's still good. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when
Mm-hmm.
obstacles do come my way, I'm still in my right mind. I still have health and strength. Like, I can still overcome obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So those are just little gentle reminders, man. And you could just be anywhere. You can see a accident. You can see anything happen. And you be like, man, that could have been me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it just helps
Mm-hmm.
put things back in perspective. So, man, don't lose that perspective because it'll take you far.
Oh yeah. Man, I didn't seen the opposite side of it. You know?
Yeah.
I done lived it and experienced the opposite side of it, man. And it's way more peaceful over here.
Yeah.
It is. It's way more peaceful over here, man.
I hear you, man. Well, thank you, man, so much for taking some time out of your day to be a guest, man, because uh, people need to hear your story. You just never know. So let everyone know how they can get in touch with you. You got
Oh shit,
anything
we
going
done already?
on? Huh?
I said, we done already?
Hey, we done already, man. But if there's something else we want to rap about, we can. I got a couple minutes on my hands. But
I do actually.
yes.
Man, I related to you on the taking things personal part, right?
Mhm,
I did that my whole life, right?
mhm,
Even with friends. And the easiest way, well, for me, the easiest way to get out of doing that, right? I started telling myself that, well, first, I'm sorry, let me back up.
mhm,
One of the ways that I was able to stop doing that was once I started learning about myself and my emotions and everything that's going on with me,
mhm,
um, it helped me to understand other people better, right? So I
mhm,
used to like do a lot of reading and trying to understand and learning about people and all of that stuff. And I was doing it so I can understand other people.
mhm,
But once I finally got it to the point where I'm like, I need to understand myself better, it was easy as hell to understand other people, because I was able to be a lot more empathetic. I could start seeing myself in them. And so it made it easier to kind of stop taking things personal because I can be like, they going through some shit they don't know how to express. And it's just I'm right here.
mhm.
Like it could have been anybody sitting right here. They would have did the same thing to them.
Yep.
I'm not special. I'm just a target. That's it. Like
You're in
it's just because
proximity.
I'm right here. It could have been anybody. Why am I having such negative self-talk
Mhm,
about some shit that they can't, express themselves? But the easiest way to help me start doing that was I used to have road rage, right?
mhm,
People doing stupid shit in traffic. I see somebody speeding past me. Like now I see somebody speeding past me and almost finna hit me or some shit. The first thing I'll say is, they kid is at home and they just got a phone call that something is wrong with them. They just trying to get home real quick. You know what I mean? Or somebody hitting their brakes and I'm like, first thing I'll say is, they're a brand new driver. They scared as shit right now. They just don't want to hit nobody, but they overcorrecting. So and so that was a way for me because for some reason, man, I would just take things personal.
mhm, mhm.
And it took me out
Perspective.
of a peaceful state. So that's one thing, like anybody who's looking at this and listening to this, understand that about taking things personal. You got to change your perspective on it. We are we are being ego driven
Yep.
when we take things so personal because everything ain't about us. It's not. Even if this person is directing it towards you, it still ain't about you. The second thing I'll have us end on, man, is well, one of the things that I learned is the cliche of you gotta after divorce and shit, man, learn, give yourself permission to love again,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
But we also have to add on to that. We have to give ourselves permission to let someone else love us. We have to, because if not, we are going to misconstrue, especially if you were not in the healthiest relationship.
Mhm.
Real love, you're going to be so skeptical about receiving such a healthy love. You have to give yourself permission to allow this person to love you.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
uh, yeah, man, I can end off with that.
Hey,
I can
that's
end off
real.
with that.
That man, that's real because my therapist or I heard a quote, I heard a quote that said one form of self-care is letting someone else love you.
Yeah, it's
And
difficult. It's
yeah,
difficult for me. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
difficult for me to say my wants and needs.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's actually difficult for me to do that. To say what I want, say what I need. I'm generally a person who just like if I'm thirsty, I get up and go to the kitchen and get me some water. I'm not the type of person to be like, "Hey, can you go get me some water?"
I'm the
Or can you
same way.
I'm just not. If I'm hungry, I get up and go get me something to eat.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm struggling with something, I'll go to my little corner and kind of ponder a little bit myself, and just try to figure it out and think about it or whatever. So like the understanding that your woman is your helpmate and she is there to help you go through that process. That is something that I kind of struggle with a little bit
Mm-hmm.
because I'm so used to doing things myself for one,
Mm-hmm.
and then two, I don't want my process scrutinized. If that makes sense, like my thought process. If I'm trying to figure out a way to fix something or get something right, or even when it's with me, I don't want to speak out loud about my how I'm processing this because if we get stuck on just one of the 10 thoughts
Mm-hmm.
that are in my head,
Yeah.
it's gonna fuck me up.
Yeah.
So, but I'm learning to state my wants and my needs
Mm-hmm.
and um, allow someone else into my process
Mm-hmm.
because I've been able to see how beneficial it is to have someone outside of yourself kind of helping you through those processes,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah, man. Yeah. 'Cause I remember my therapist, she told me, she said about taking things personal. She said, Sean, you don't have to carry everything.
Hmm.
It's like when people say stuff, she said, you don't have to carry that. She's like, you just weighing yourself down. So
Hmm.
as soon as somebody say something to you, you're ready to snap because you've been carrying all this stuff that people have been saying, thinking that is directed at you or you feeling some kind of way. It's like, you don't have to carry that.
Yeah.
Sam. So, and that was a game changer for me. I was like, dang. And it takes work, believe me, man, because you got to think different.
Yeah.
Got to think
Yeah.
different. You know, yeah, I always tell people too, especially people I'm coaching and stuff like that. I'm like, give your significant other some time to unlearn.
Yeah.
Give them some time, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Any closing thoughts? Any we rapping anything, that you got on your mind or in your heart that you feel like you something else that you want to share or you good?
Yeah. I think I'm good, man. I
You
think
good?
I'm good. I
Good.
think I'm good.
Good. Well, tell us what you got going on. You got any music coming out? You got man, I missed the drunken nights. You don't know how often you guys have got me through because I was working nights and
Hmm.
man, y'all got man that new episode drop. Man, it dropped at midnight or whatever. I'm one of the first people listening to it. Y'all have me cracking up. My boss, he's like, man, what you listening to? Because I'll be over there with my headphones cracking
Hmm.
like you don't know how many nights the drunken nights have got me through at work, man. Y'all was good therapy along with some good humor, man. So I appreciate y'all, man.
Man, right on. We're gonna get back to it eventually, man. Just when we do, I don't want to do it the same way we've been doing it.
Mhm.
Like at least add something to it. Do something a little different.
For sure, man. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's yeah. I mean, right now, I mean, I'm working on a instrumental album
Mhm.
right now too. So that's been that's been fun as shit actually.
Yeah.
That's been really fucking fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's up, man. So when we're gonna get a release date, it was just kind of like in the works.
It's in the works.
In the
I want to
works.
make sure everything is right. Yeah,
Got you. Got you.
I'm a perfectionist
Got you. Yeah. Same here,
to a
man.
fault. Actually.
Welcome to the club, brother. Welcome to the club. Oh my God. Well, that's what's up, man. Well, thanks again, King K, for taking some time out of your day, man, to
Mhm.
be transparent. Man, I want to acknowledge you for because it seemed like I know you from listening to your podcast for years. You know, I want to
Mhm.
acknowledge you for being brave enough to actually go through the divorce because a lot of men stay. They stay and they stay miserable. Uh, so I want to acknowledge you for that to take that off and be like, you know what, I want to find my life. Um, so I want to acknowledge you for that. I want to acknowledge you for taking care of your kids. Taking care
That's
of
been the toughest part. I appreciate it, man.
yeah, man.
Learning how to be a father on this side of the door has
Gotcha.
been a thing too,
For
man.
sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, that's a whole conversation. I get it. I have a
Yeah.
20-year-old daughter. I get it. Believe me. you know yeah, man. So and just wanted to acknowledge you, man, for the podcast for Drunken Nights, and then you had a dope podcast that you stopped doing with D Dowdy. Y'all was like reading books, like y'all would talk about a book or something,
Yeah.
and I was like, that was the concept was so dope. I was like, what happened? So
Yeah.
uh
Timing.
yeah, life be life. But yeah, man, want to acknowledge you for those things, man. So man, I wish you the best. Continue to do what you do, man. Stay in touch. And you can always come back as a guest, man. If there's some kind of topic that's going on or we need to wrap,
Mhm.
let's do it, man.
All right, I'm with it, brother. Right on for having me, man. I appreciate it. For real, for real.
For sure. Bravehearts community, you heard it here. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, share this with a friend. You never know who's going through a divorce, who's in the midst of getting ready to sign the paperwork. You just don't know. So share this with a friend. Also, if you are listening to this via podcast, make sure you leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. By doing so, it'll put you on the drawing for a free Amazon gift card. Who doesn't like free stuff? This is Sean Heineman with special guest King K, and we
Mm.